Let's talk about self-discipline. This is the question I got. It's a personal question. Someone asked me, EBM Ernest, how did you come to develop your self-discipline? What steps or what advice can you give to others in order to develop their self-discipline? That was a little bit tough question for me because it involves so many things, and it is a constant thing you have to do over and over to come up with having what we call self-discipline. But overall, how do you, on your case, develop your self-discipline? First, do you have even self-discipline? Do you know you have or you don't have a self-discipline? So that is the first question. Do you have a self-discipline? But this person who asked me a question knows for sure 100% that this guy has a certain kind of self-discipline. So he asked me, he's writing his book, what is exactly your self-discipline? How did you come to develop your self-discipline? And overall, what steps, what advice can you give to someone to be able also to develop their own self-discipline? Or what steps someone has to follow in order to do the self-discipline thing? So, everybody, welcome to EBM Scholars. This is EBM Scholars, the show itself which provides different ways on how you can succeed. Again, in case you are brand new to my channel, you are in the right area. Why you are in the right area? Because this is the most positive channel you will ever come across to the YouTube. We are here to provide different ways on how individual we can succeed and how we can support one another. Whether you are looking information about immigration to US, to Canada, to Europe, whatever you want about information about immigration, or you want just to go for vacation, information about visas, about interviews, things of that nature. But if you are looking for education, where do you get the education? Whether you are looking for scholarships, whether you are looking for even for paying for your own school fees and things of that nature, I will tell you, why can't you go to Norway? Norway is a free education. I can give you advice and I can share all those good stuff on how you can get the best high quality education, either for free or completely for free, but also being paid under scholarships. So this is the channel you can get all those information. But also there are some people who want, okay, I want to lose weight, but I don't want just to hear some stories. I want to hear the actual people who went through the process of being overweight and they lost their weight. Here's the channel where I can break down everything you need to know. But again, apart from that, we can come here on this channel and learn more about how you can be able to write books, how you can put your books on Amazon without paying even a single dollar. I have already published 11 books and all my books are on Amazon. Yesterday, I uploaded my 11th book, which is this one, PhD Scholarships for Africans in the United States of America. This year, 2019 alone, I've published 3 books. One is about my life, the memoir. The second one is about imperialism or history, economics, whatever. And the third one is about the scholarship for PhD for African people. So this is the channel where we are just sharing all those information and how I put my books on Amazon or online. I don't pay even a single dime. I don't pay even a single coin. I just put it there and all those things I will be sharing. So this channel has a lot of good things, whatever. So it cannot be, this particular topic might be not appropriate to you, but you can share the channel to your son, you can share the channel to your daughter, you can share channel to your parents, you can share. And the most important, we are using the correct language, the most appropriate language. So don't fear, okay, maybe this guy will be just cussing here. No, cussing is the normal language you can use. A daughter, as a son, parents, wherever, you can share this channel. So let's go on, but remember to subscribe to my channel in case you have done so, and let's go into detail about self-discipline. Do you have self-discipline? Personally, yes, I have. How did I come to know whatever I have self-discipline? So it came into phases. For my case. But overall self-discipline to my understanding. I don't know, for other people, they might have breakdown of steps, breakdown of so other things. But for me, I'm combining the list of certain things, and I will explain how did I come to that highest level of understanding and being consistent, like being that kind of discipline. And I will give you specific examples of things which I can tell you how disciplined I am on certain things. Okay. So self-discipline overall is including, or you need to have these things to help you to have this kind of self-discipline. You must have a high level of determination when you are doing certain things. You need to be very focused. You need to have deadlines, but not just deadlines, commitment to those deadlines, commitment to your promises, commitment on your objectives. And overall, you need to have obsession to the success, obsession to the excellence. You have to be obsessed, like, okay, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the ways how I'm going to do it. And here I'll come back and explain with a vivid example. For instance, when Michael Jordan is going to explain like how I'm going to beat this team and how he's going to do. So those are kind of the self-discipline I'll be talking about. So it can come, there are different ways or sources, ways you can come back to get the self-discipline. And there are certain things that might come just naturally because where you live, where you grew up, whatever things of that nature, childhood upbringing, but sometimes you might use other sources to be disciplined. For me, I was very fortunate, very lucky guy to be in the family where my father was the most highly disciplined person. I've never met a person like that guy in my entire life. He was, rest in peace, the most disciplined person. He is very determined. He has a plan. He knows how to execute. He has a timeline. He is consistent until he's finishing. No matter which part of the world you are, having 13 children is the most difficult thing to do, to raise them, in terms of financial, in terms of parenting them, in terms of how you can, motivate them, things of that nature. But my father or my parents in general had that ethical way, disciplined way on how they budgeted their money, how they sacrifice certain things for us. For instance, my father, if you want, like even now after passing away, you can go to his drawer or some of his cabinet, you can find the receipt of maybe paying tax in 1981. So everything, when he has a business, like hotel, when he had a restaurant, anything he paid as a tax to the government, he has a receipt. So he was very organized in that way, very disciplined. So if he has this money is going to be used for water bill, it will go for the water bill. So he has the highest level. I have never reached to that level, even 50% of that level. So I grew up into that kind of lifestyle. So that helped me to build a certain kind of, but still remember you were a kid, whatever, you're just jumping here and there. So I cannot say that way. But one of the things, when I was in 5th grade, I've been talking this story for a long time. And if you read my memoir, which is one of the books on Amazon, and some of the website is a free book also, I'm talking more about how you can be able to make a life decision while you are still very young. While I was in 5th grade, standard 5 to be specific, primary school, elementary school, back in 1995, in my hometown, small town, Kigoma, at the time there was no internet. At the time I have no that big exposure. I made a decision that when I grow up, I will definitely go and live in the United States of America. When I go there, I will live there, I will become a citizen, and I have to succeed. That was my goal. So I was so much disciplined. So when I was growing up, Every time I will say, oh, you're talking to your friends, oh, that is impossible. Because first of all, you are not a son of a politician. You are not coming from a rich family. So obviously there are so many negatives, but how are you self-disciplined? So there are things I had to make sure that I was committed. One of the things was academic. I have to make sure that I have to get good grades, which I'll be able to pass in order to come to America, or to go to Europe and then come to America as a final destination. So me, for my case, I had to be one goal, to be one determined, and to know it is possible. But one of the way to go there was through education. So I had to make sure that one. But I had to find what other ways should I avoid so that I cannot reach my goal. So this worked for me. This, I'm going to explain to you, worked for me. I had, especially when I was starting going to high school, going to the university level, I had to make sure that I know sometimes love affairs can make a very bad judgment. You might use your heart instead of your brain to make a life decision. So personally, I didn't want to see that, oh, I don't need to go to America because Dar es Salaam or Kigoma in Tanzania, it's just beautiful like New York. No. So for me, I made my mind that I was avoiding to date anybody because I didn't want to make a decision based on my feeling. So I blocked down everything which was going to be a target, to drop me from my main focus. So I was so self-disciplined to avoid a certain kind of emotion, love affairs, all those things to drop down. I didn't go to the disco, I didn't do. So there's a certain sacrifice I did to be focused and self-disciplined to make sure that I'm going to succeed. And thankful to God, when I was in my final year of bachelor degree, I got the scholarship to come to America. So I was doing my final year, final examination at the University of Dar es Salaam. I have a ticket to come to the United States of America under Fulbright, the most prestigious scholarship on the planet Earth. So that was on my case. So for me, self-discipline was to avoid so many things to end up into the main goal, like to come to America. And when I pulled it off, many friends of mine at the university, man, you have been talking this one from first year. Some people they know from high school, oh, you have been talking that you'll go to America, you'll be there, you'll become a citizen. So, oh, primary school, man, this guy is so determined. So for me, that it's okay. So that was possible. It inspired so many people. That journey I went through helped so many people to know this is a self-discipline. But when I came to America, okay, I'll say I'll come here, I'll just find another scholarship, continue to be there. Yes, I was doing here and there to succeed. But the highest level, when I came to realize that, man, I'm very highly disciplined, was in the year 2012. The year of 2012 changed me a lot of things. I got married in the year 2010. I was extremely overweight. But I made a decision I want to join the U.S. military, join specifically U.S. Navy. So when I wanted to join the U.S. Navy, what happened? I went to the Navy recruiter. Someone, okay, the officer want to recruit, to get into enlist in the U.S. military. The guy looked at me, man, are you joking? Because you look like, he told me like, if you want to join here, you have to lose at least 23 kilograms, which was like 50 pounds at average. And they said like at least 40 pounds. And he told me no one has ever come back here when I told you to lose like 25 pounds, 30 pounds. Let's just 40, 50 pounds? No way. He asked, do you know what is calorie? I said, no, I do not know. Do you know what it takes to lose 1 pound? I said, I don't know. Have you been to a gym? I said, no, I've never been to a gym. Okay, I used to play soccer, whatever, back in the day. But he said, man, I guarantee you'll never come back here. I told him, give me 90 days, I will come back here, lost 50 pounds, which he wanted. He said, no way. So I went back home, sit on the computer, find a new blank new notebook, and started watching YouTube videos, went to the library, got the books about nutrition, about losing weight, what it takes to lose 1 pound in a week. But later I came to say, oh, can lose even 5, you can lose even like 1 pound per day. So I break down every single thing I need to do. Eating, how many hours I need to sleep, how much amount of water, what kind of food, how do I cook. So everything went on perfect. And I was obsessed with exercise. I was able to lose over 65 pounds, which is almost more than 30 kilograms in 75 days. So it was averaging nearby 1 pound, which is a half kilogram per day. When I did that one and I was able to join the military, that was the time I knew, man, there is nothing I cannot do in my life if I'm determined. So that was the highest level of discipline. So from that moment, anything I want to do, I know I can do it. As long as I have to take a time to read about it, put a plan, and to go to execute. And the technique I'm using, so what step I'm using? The step I'm using, one, I have to know what I'm going into. For instance, let's forget about the weight. Because for the weight wise, I said, I want to lose 50 pounds, whatever. The food, I had to know the food. I have to do everything and what kind of exercise I need to do. So let's about that one, the highest discipline. So for instance, like now I'm talking to you, I haven't eaten starch maybe for more than a month. It's just easy. I'm deciding that way and I can cook my food. So there is a certain discipline. When I decide to do something, I can do that because I know myself now, the discipline I have. So let's say, for instance, when I came to discover that, oh, I'm a good writer. So what should I do to keep myself more motivated? So one of the ways in order to keep my talent up on my writing, I said, I posted on Facebook, I posted on Instagram, I posted on Twitter. So I usually use my social media on my advantage. I post a goal, which for many people, they see it is impossible. And I wait for the people, they say, man, you cannot do that one. Man, I'm so much happy when I hear that. That is impossible. That's when I'm taking the challenge. So when I put in my goal, usually I share with the social media to get, especially those people that say, no, it is impossible. That's the time I have to execute in 100% with perfection. So for instance, I say, I'm going to write 100 books in 30 years. Each year, I'm going to write 3 books. What am I doing? Now, within 3 years, I have 11 books. Starting from, this is my 4th year, I'm sorry. So starting from 2012, which when I came to realize that I have 11 books. From end of 2015 up to now, I have 11 books. So I'm keeping this 2019, I've already published 3 books. Last year, 3 books. Next year, I want to go, oh, why can't I do 4? So self-discipline, so it's just like when I'm still using social media. From there, I go to find what are the best ways on how I can be able to do this one. And how I can keep something what I'm going to do is motivating to myself. I'm not going to give something which I cannot do, like just to please other people. So self-discipline is starting on how are you committed yourself. How are you going to sacrifice other things? How are you going to put your deadline and the priorities? But overall, how are you going to sacrifice things which they are on the way to not being able to succeed? And this is where you find Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi are the best players because they can sacrifice a lot of things. Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't drink at all. Not because he doesn't want, because he wants to be disciplined. When he's eating very, very well. He can sleep well. Lionel Messi, they do the same thing. They train extra. If you go to the basketball, you find Michael Jordan did the same thing. If you go to football, you find the best like quarterbacks, like whatever, they do the same thing. So there is a certain way you have to know why these people succeed. That's why when you go to find African soccer players, they cannot be able to be in a continuous way because they lack self-discipline. You want to be the best player, at the same time you are going to sleep midnight, you are chatting on WhatsApp. You are a soccer player, please go and sleep. You wake up in the morning and you're eating fufu, you're eating ugali, big chapati, all those food which are not healthy. You are playing video game all the time, but instead of being into the gym. So when you want to become the best, you know what are the ways you need to do there. What kind of behavior you need to do. It's very simple. Just like say, I want to go to heaven. If you want to go to heaven, commit by being a nice person. Commit of avoiding sin. Simple like that. So self-discipline is just like not doing sins in order to go to heaven. Simple. So that is what works for me. Those are the steps I take usual in order to succeed in anything I do. Self-discipline, how I develop myself into that. But at what point I came to realize that I'm the best, I can be able to do anything I want as long because I know my ways on how disciplined I am in order to succeed in anything I want to do. So, what's your self-discipline techniques or style? How do you do it? share with me in the comment below. But remember to put the comments, and remember to like the video, and remember to subscribe to my channel. Thank you everyone. Goodbye.